Hello, this is Granddaddy Pendragon, and you don't need me to tell you what a troubled world we currently live in. Partisanship is at an all-time high. There's a lot of hatred and vitriol. There's a lot of slinging of the words Nazi and fascist on various internet forums. A lot of racist remarks. A lot of animosity. Our world is tragically divided. I'm over 70 years old, and I've seen times like this. I remember back in the 1960s and the early 70s, there was the so-called generation gap. There was a lot of controversy over the United States' involvement in the Vietnam War. You had the anti-war protesters on one side, and you had those who were hawkishly in support of the war on the other. And you had a lot of animosity between the hippies and the straight people. People would go up to hippies and say, "Why don't you get a haircut? Boy, you trying to look like a girl?" And all of that kind of thing. Yeah, there were troubled times back then. There's always been times of division. And along came 2020. Best year ever. Oh, what a shit show that year was, wasn't it? Everybody was locked down. Kids had to take all their classes online. My wife's a school teacher, so yeah, she had to deal with that. All the kids turning their cameras off. It was absolute insanity. And, you couldn't get within 6 feet of each other. Everybody had to wear their mask. I remember when I was a student at Penn, we had to wear 2 masks. One was not enough. We wore 2 masks. And guess what? I still got COVID. And I did not have, by the way, a single symptom. At Penn, we had to take a COVID test every 2 weeks. And if you flunked the test, you couldn't go to class. You couldn't get into the buildings. You had a special little, app on your phone that you'd have to show that, you were okay. And so when I was diagnosed with COVID, they called me and they said, "Well, sorry, you're going to have to quarantine yourself for a week." And so I did, but I felt fine. No problems. The Pennsylvania Health Department called me and they interviewed me, ran through a list of questions, and they said, "Are you sure you're okay? You're not dying?" No. I said, "I feel fine. I feel like I normally do." "Are you sure?" "Yeah." Positive. I suspect that if your immune system was compromised, the COVID virus probably hit you differently than it did if it wasn't. I suspect I probably have had COVID several times, the truth be known, and here I am. I'm a senior citizen. I'm one of those, folks that is supposed to be the most vulnerable to dying, and here I am, staring at you. Yeah, those were great days. Great days. 20 and 21. Boy, I'll always remember those days. Remember seeing, footage of our cities in flames, looting. I remember there was a statue of an elk pulled down along with other statues. An elk. I guess the elk was racist. I don't know. It was just crazy, crazy times. So yeah, we have a lot to divide us. Some people love Trump. Some people absolutely detest him. And there we are. it seems like people can't talk anymore about their differences. They just kind of separate, go into their separate sides of the room, go into their tribes, exchange their secret handshakes, their secret slogans, and there they remain. We don't need any more to divide us. We've got more than enough division. What we need is something to bring us together. And I think that doll collecting, and of course I would think living dead doll collecting, since that's what I, basically do, is a good way to form bridges with people who might be very different than we are. Let me give you an example. There is a YouTube content creator who has a channel, and her name is Crybaby Lily XO. Now, I don't know a lot about her, okay? I know we're different in various ways. For one thing, she's young and I'm old. She's on her way up and I'm on my way out. She talks fast and I talk slow. I talk like a turtle, trudging its way through molasses. She's, I believe, in Canada and I'm in the United States. But despite all those differences, oh, and she does have a lot of hair. Way more than I do, trust me. But despite all those differences, one thing that Crybaby Lily and I share is a love of living dead dolls. We both collect them. And she's always been very nice to me. She's always supported my channel. My channel's pretty young, and I don't have a lot of viewers. I don't have near the viewers she does, or near the subscriptions. But she's always been very, very kind. She's always watched a lot of my videos and commented on them and liked them. And I've done the same with her videos. We support each other. We're not at odds with each other. We're not at each other's throats. And I love how excited she is whenever she gets a new living dead doll. She'll hold it up and she'll say, I just love it. I just love it. And I get excited for her. I'm glad she got that doll. A lot of times it's a Holy Grail doll that she's been wanting all of her life. And I'll comment and say, hey, I'm glad you got that doll. There's no animosity between us. Now, are we exactly alike in all respects? No. I suspect we're probably very different, for the reasons I enumerated and probably for other reasons besides. However, we do mutually love living dead dolls. We love to collect them. We get excited about them. We like to talk about them. And that's just one example. There are others I could mention that, we're very different in respects, but one thing that forms a bridge between us is our love of dolls like this. We love to talk about them. We love to exchange, our experiences with them, how we bought them, where we bought them from, what we think are their strengths and weaknesses. The only wars that exist between collectors of living dead dolls are bidding wars. And, that's not a big deal. I've bid on a lot of dolls, and if I lose the bid, I don't go crawling off into the corner and go, oh, I didn't get the doll. I hate that person. That person's a fascist. No, it's just the way it goes. But we who collect living dead dolls are kind of I would say, a pretty benign group of people. We don't create a lot of wars. We're not out for violence. We're not out to beat people up. We're not out to harangue people. We just like the dolls, and we like the community that these little dolls have created. Just 10 inches of plastic. But yet, they help form a bridge by which we can get together. Doll collecting is a very peaceful hobby. And when I make videos about living dead dolls and other hard dolls I collect, it's not because, I'm thinking I'm going to get monetized. Trust me, that's not going to happen. Not anytime soon. It'll probably be in spite of myself than because of myself. I mean, I see people that on YouTube that get really depressed, when they get 2,000 views on their channel. You're like, oh, I just got 2,000 views. I'm like, seriously? Yeah, you got 2,000 views? Honestly? I get pretty excited when I get double digits, much less triple digits. I haven't had a single video yet to reach 1,000 views. But do I crawl off in the corner and sob about it? No. I mean, I just share the dolls in my collection in hopes that those who are interested will view the videos and find a moment of escape, a moment of fun, a moment of relief, maybe from the hassles of day-to-day life, and be able to just kind of kick back and enjoy looking at this doll and listening to me describe it. I try to make, the videos quasi-entertaining. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, I guess. But I try. Lord knows I try. Because I want it to be fun. We need fun. We need moments of relaxation. We don't need to always just be pounding away at what divides us. We need things to unite us. Enough of the tribalism. Enough of the division. Enough of the stupidity of hatred and violence. If you're having to resort to violence, there's something wrong with your position. That is the act of the impotent. But in doll collecting, we don't do that. No, for us, it's pretty benign, very peaceful. And that's why, we have this community. I know there's a lot of groups that I don't know anything about. I'm kind of a lone wolf, but I understand there are groups on Facebook and other places where, people get together and they show their living dead doll collections or their doll collections, and they talk about the dolls, and they barter and swap dolls and all of that. And that's what it's all about. It's fun. It's relaxing. It's benign. It's not going to hurt anybody. So join the community. That's what I would say to you. It doesn't have to be living dead dolls necessarily. I mean, that's what I'm interested in, but you might be interested in something else. But whatever it is, find a hobby, find a passion, find something that you enjoy doing. And because we've got enough people that, are just fueled by hatred and who don't seem to know what to do with themselves, at least not constructively. So find a community like this one, because we need bridges. We need things to unite us. We need things to bring us together. Even if it's creepy little dolls like this. This is Granddaddy Pendragon signing out.